תקשור את הכלב שלך וכן הוא זכר. לא, אני רק אומרת. למה אתה כועס? אני רק... בבקשה, הנה דוגמה לבן אדם שכועס עליי והוא מתחיל להידלק. בדיוק בשביל אנשים כאלה יש לנו את הכלב. בן אדם סתם צועק עליי. לידי. כלב טוב.
Dogs have long been known to be man's best friend. But for this woman, her dog is her actual bodyguard.
I suffered from every kind of abuse you can imagine. The physical abuse began when my eldest daughter was about 2 years old. But because I didn't end up going to the emergency room, I didn't see myself as a battered woman. I would just tell myself, okay, he's just angry, stressed, he had a hard day at work. And the whole time I would try to calm him down and make myself smaller, try to do the things that he would ask from me, like not going to meet up with one friend or staying more at home. When I started to try to get advice from my family about what was going on, he would prohibit me from visiting them.
This is Batya. For years, she suffered from violent abuse at the hands of her ex-husband. Even now, we can't use her real name in this interview because of the risk that he could come after her and her daughters.
He started to abuse my daughters. He would play with knives near us to terrorize us and threaten to kill me. Their school figured it out, and they called the police, which ended up making our lives even more complicated because the cops took my husband in for questioning and then brought him back to the house, and that put all of our lives even more at risk. We understood that was it, and we needed to escape.
After filing a complaint to the police, Batya's ex was arrested and sentenced to a year in jail. But towards the end of his prison time, Batya started to break down.
The moment he went to jail, I realized my time was limited because one day he would get out of jail and then he would start hunting me down. I saw a post about a domestic abuse survivor that had received a guard dog, and I realized that I had a solution. I finally had an option that would allow me to sleep peacefully at night.
אני לא רוצה שתתקרב אליי. בבקשה ממך תתרחק.
תביא לי את העצות.
שמור! די! Good job! Happy day! Good job! Get it out! Good job! כלב טוב.
Batya is one of 12 battered women who have received guard dogs from the Michal Sela Forum, an Israeli organization dedicated to protecting victims of domestic violence. The forum's new guard dog program began in June of 2020 and is the first of its kind in the world. Dog experts train guard dogs to accompany families in need for life.
We know how to train guard dogs. We bring specific breeds from abroad. We raise them from a young age. We select and test them. And everything begins when they're puppies. What does that mean? In order to choose the perfect dog, here we identify the personalities of the puppies. The puppies that are the most friendly and communicative with people and children are the dogs that we select to be trained for the Michal Sela Forum dog program.
We're at Dogs Code K9 Kennel in southern Israel, where specialized dog experts train guard dogs for the Michal Sela guard dog program. Today, one brave domestic abuse survivor has agreed to let us film her meeting her guard dog for the first time. But before that happens, I want to understand how these dogs are properly prepared to do the job.
We'll start with making a bunch of noises to see which is the first puppy that responds to me, which is the first puppy that wants to be pet, which is the first to communicate with me. These things are super important because what they're doing now is what they will do as adult dogs at the age of 1 year.
So not every dog here is fit to guard a family.
Not every dog. There are puppies that go to very strong places. We train dogs for security and defense. There are dogs that are sent to the United States to work with police officers.
There are people that say that it's too dangerous to give a dog like this to a woman with children in her house. What do you say to this?
At the end of the day, a defense dog is not meant to be dangerous. He will not attack a child. He doesn't have a reason to attack a child because these dogs are trained and they know how to identify a real threat. They go through daily training with children and with women. Then we make the connection between the dog and the woman that the dog will defend and test to make sure that the connection is a good fit. We'll do everything possible to make sure that she leaves here with a dog that is ideal for her and that she feels secure so that she can begin her new life. You know, sometimes people ask me, why do this with dogs? Why not just give a woman a gun if she needs to defend herself? Let me ask you, if she runs into her abuser on the street, will she be able to pull out a gun and shoot him? At that same moment, the body goes into a state of shock. She can easily panic and freeze. The dog knows how to tell her, take a step back. I'm going to defend you.
Now I can come and hug them, right? When does that start to change?
You can always hug them. That's what's amazing. Even when they're 1 year old, you can hug them. They're just dogs with special powers.
For Batya, her personal guardian angel has become Bamba, this guard dog that accompanies and protects her everywhere she goes, whether it's to the mall, the beach, or even the cinema.
He is everything we could have asked for as a family. He has brought so much optimism and security to our home because we knew that people had heard what was happening in our house. The abuse wasn't quiet, but no one ever even knocked on the door to check what was happening, no matter what they heard inside our home or even outside our apartment in the stairwell. No one here even turned on the light in the stairwell to check what was happening to us there. We lost any hope of security or protection. We were always living with the feeling that even in our own house, our lives are at risk. And the feeling that there is no one to protect you, it's impossible to explain it. I was in a situation where I couldn't even leave the house. I couldn't go out alone. I couldn't go out with my daughters. I would have panic attacks and stress, even just going to the grocery store. The girls were scared something would happen to me when I went out. And when we got the dog, I could finally tell them, look, there is someone watching over me.
אנחנו מוצאים אישה כבת 30 לערך, שכובה בבית, ללא סימני חיים עם סימני פציעה מרובים. לאחר בדיקה ראשונית נאלצנו לקבוע את מותה.
מיכל סלע, בת 32, במקור ממושב בית זית, נרצחה כך על פי החשד על ידי בעלה.
If the Michal Sela dog program had existed before my sister Michal was killed, she would be alive today. I'm telling you this 100%. The dog program was born when I got a phone call from a dog trainer who used to work in the Army's Special Forces K9 unit. I asked her in that same phone call if a dog like that had been in the room with Michal when her husband stabbed her and choked her, would the dog have saved her? And she told me, absolutely. A guard dog would have saved Michal's life if he had been in the room with her when she was attacked.
This is Lili Ben-Ami. In 2019, her sister Michal, a 32-year-old social worker, was brutally murdered by her husband in front of their 8-month-old daughter.
Michal fought back. The whole house was a battle zone. Even the light fixtures were shattered, and the closets were broken and thrown to the ground. Her husband Ellerin beat her and choked her and stabbed her 11 times. And then he stayed with her body for 17 hours while the baby was there, an 8-month-old. If my sister had had a defense dog, she would absolutely be with us today.
After Michal was killed, Lili launched the Michal Sela Forum in her name to come up with unique solutions to prevent more women like her sister from being abused. The forum's guard dog program is the first of its kind in the world, and it's completely free for domestic abuse survivors. Right now, we're about to meet Ruth. She escaped her violent husband after 2 decades of marriage, but he refuses to leave her alone. And today, she's going to meet the dog from the Michal Sela Forum that's been specially trained to guard her. For safety reasons, she doesn't want to be interviewed and has covered herself in unidentifiable clothing.
I'm going to introduce you to Ivar now. He's really amazing. I'll give you food to give him so that you can feel his energy. Any questions you have, just let me know. I'm here for you. Ivar, are you excited?
The dog loves kids, he loves playing, he's your path to freedom. Ivar hears super well, his hearing is incredible. You can sleep at night because he will hear everything, even if somebody just touches your doorknob. He smells threats.
I was in your place. I dealt with abuse and I know how you feel. This is the best thing you can do for your life. I also have a guard dog, and it has changed my life. You finally feel like you have somebody to protect you.
There's lots and lots and lots of loneliness when you escape domestic violence. There's a lot of anger. I think that as long as I have this feeling that my ex-husband is waiting around the corner ready to attack me, which I think will be a feeling that I will have for the rest of my life, I will need this dog to accompany me, to give me a sense of security. It's a trauma that just won't disappear. You just have to learn how to live with it. But I think if there is one point where I can really say that I began to start healing, it was from the moment my guard dog came to my house. He's my angel, my guardian angel. He's given me back control of my life.